Hey guys, Dan here. Today we're going to be looking at a book I picked up in 2017, so this video is already about a year late, and this is called Beginners and Beyond, Gundam Modeling Plus 4 Steps, which I assume refers to the 4 kits that are featured on this cover because there are certainly more than 4 steps in here. This is just the dust cover. We're not going to need this, but I wanted to show it off because it is rather nice. And then we get the book here. Now, this is printed in the same way that, Japanese manga is printed. It's printed so that you read it from right to left instead of left to right. And it's a nice book. It's almost fully in, I think it's fully in cover. I don't want to say almost. It's fully in color. It covers lots of different steps, techniques, everything really from like the most basic, here's how to fix some molding issues, sanding, seam lines, painting, weathering, modification, scratch building. So it's really interesting that this is labeled beginners and beyond because a lot of those techniques I would not consider teaching a beginner about. But it's all in here. It's all in Japanese clearly. So you're gonna need, if you don't read Japanese, I don't read Japanese. You're gonna need translating application on your phone to understand what's going on here. But the photos themselves are fairly descriptive as to what they're trying to convey. So you can probably get away with understanding what they're trying to get across just by looking at the photos. And the book covers the Master Grade, Granddaddy Gundam, the 3.0, a high grade Gym, a RG Zaku 2, MG Hyaku Shiki 2.0, and a HG Sazabi. And then, each section of the book covers a different, technique. So the first one, the Gundam's it's a clean build example. The GM and Zaku are both weathering examples. The Hyaku Shiki is focused on how to, for example, remove the gold coating, which a lot of us do before painting the kit. And then they also get into the fact that there are a gazillion different gold colors on the market, and here's what each of them look like, and they get into polishing and other things later on, demonstrating how you can do more with your metallics, just using some basic techniques just to make them look, more realistic. Here's tips on mixing paint. They show putting a ball bearing in there and then using one of these electric stirrers to mix the metallic particles up. They're pointing out here, for example, that the metal flake sits at the bottom of the tray. And you need to reincorporate it into the paint to get the metallics looking correct. They cover painting metal parts. The full page pinup spreads of the kits here are they're gorgeous. Really something to drool over, and I've already looked at this Hyaku Shiki quite a bit, and I'm thinking that I'm going to take some of the inspiration from this design with the multiple colors of gold and incorporate that into my own build when I finally get around to it. Just really, really fantastic photographs in here. The Xabi is the last model in the back of this book, and it gets into some pretty advanced techniques as far as I'm concerned, with heavy modification, scratch building, lots of putty work, things like that, modifying parts. Here, for example, they're splitting the shoulder, and they're explaining that, here's how you extend the joint on the inside so you can still use the shoulder joint to make keep the form of the model intact. I've picked this up and I've looked at it periodically. Like I mentioned, I like having these things around for inspiration. Also to learn about new tools. For example, there's a set of, here we go, photo etch guides for scribing, things like that. I didn't know about these until I saw it in this book, and I was able to track that down on HLJ actually. So it's helped to inform me about tools and materials that are out there that I haven't seen in my travels. And And then, just it's a good source of inspiration and a good way to learn new techniques that you might not find online or may not be explained well online. The only downside to this book is that on HLJ right now, and I'll leave a link in the description, this item is listed at 3,900 yen, which is about $38 USD without shipping, and it's only 136 pages long. There are other reference style books like this that are out there in the market that are certainly cheaper and do a better job of explaining specific activities. So if you're in the market for a book like this, or you're curious and want to check it out, I wouldn't recommend starting with this. There are some better options from Hobby Japan. Specifically, they're called Gundam Weapons Modeling Masters. I think there are 2 books out right now, and I've already reviewed one of them on my channel. I'll leave another link for that in the description. So if you're interested, I might recommend checking out one of those first and then coming to this later if you're still interested, or if there's a specific kit in here that you want to learn about. So I hope this video was informative. I do periodically purchase these books. They are a good reference. I like having them around, and it's just great looking at some of the pictures sometimes just to get myself motivated. So I'm actually interested to know how many of you have purchased something like this. Is this something that you think would help your model building, or is this something you think is just kind of useless? Just leave a comment below. I'm really interested to know, actually. If you haven't already, you can always like and subscribe the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for checking it out. Take care of yourselves.